At an alarming rate. In fact, more than any other group, and that's according to a brand new analysis from USA Today looking at 4 years of local and national data. But why exactly is this happening, and can we do anything to stop it? Of course we can. Joining me now are two experts on the issue. Rashida Phillips, she's the Director of Housing at Policy Link. She's also making her cross-connection debut this morning, so thank you for being here. And friend of the show, Diane Yentl, returning champion. She's president and CEO of the National Low Income Housing Coalition. Very happy to have both you ladies here. Diane, I'm going to start with you. Is this a case of many people, regardless of race, owing back rent, but black women bearing the brunt of the eviction crisis?
Child, before they even get started, she already making excuses. Hey there, besties. Thank you for stopping by. I am MICHONDENYSE. I know y'all sick of it. I know y'all sick of it. But I'm sorry. I'm going to have to keep on with this because I'm tired of people acting like they got so much. They got it going on. They know everything. They the best at the best at the best of every daggone thing and are the worst at so many things. And I got to point it out. It's the gift that keeps on giving. But before I get started with these guys, please go ahead. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. We're going for 20,000 by the end of the year. I appreciate the support. Let's see what these ladies have to say.
That's certainly a part of it. The eviction crisis existed long before the pandemic, but...
Thank you, Miss Ma'am, whatever her name is, because they was going to sit up here and try to say that the only reason that this is how it is because of the pandemic. You know, everything is going to be blamed on C-19 for the rest of our lives, child. It's going to be 3,039. They're going to be like, well, C-19? Oh, geez. But yes, and plus they just said, I think the study was 4 to 5 years. So if that's the case, you can't even say that it's daggone C-19 or the daggone rent moratorium. So thank you, ma'am.
But the pandemic exacerbated it. And certainly pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic.
Well, looky here. Eviction filings by race and gender. Now listen, this is a completely different stat than what we already looked at. So it looks like everyone has about the same thing going on, regardless of who you go to. So this is 2019 in King County, filings per 1,000 renters, Asian women 3.9, Hispanic women 12.3, white women 7%, and in red, leading in the front, y'all better go, women, black women 39.2%. So I'm trying to understand with the independent, we got it going on, most educated, we got it, hey, crusted, dusted, musty, crusted, dusted. Are they really the crusties, the dusties, and the musties at the end of the day? I mean, yes, we are only talking about evictions right now, but that's pretty significant, especially when you have daggone kids, you're getting evicted, you ain't got a place to live. But the men are at 32, which is still not good, y'all, okay? Fair is fair. This is not good. It's better, but it's not good. But it's not better than here. 3.2 on the Asian, 13.3 on the Hispanic, and 7.8 on the white. We got a lot of work to do overall. But these are the people that are running off at the mouth, so that's why we got to point it out. And they didn't know. The people that put this together didn't know, but somehow, some way, they knew to put y'all in red. Always at the top of a list we don't need to be on.
Black women are most harmed. It happens as a result of structural racism. It happens through a broken housing system that favors landlords at the expense of renters, and through a social safety net with gaping holes for predominantly black women to fall through.
Wow, she falling right in line. So, of course, it's white supremacy and racism. She said racism, of course. Do we have some discriminatory practices? Of course we do. Whether people want to acknowledge that or not is up to you. We know we do. Not really sure what that has to do with evictions, because an eviction means that you're getting put out of some place. So you got put in to begin with. That does not sound like racism to me. It doesn't sound like it's structurally racist. It sounds like you were given an opportunity, and then for some reason you had to be evicted for whatever that reason was. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. Then, of course, we want to blame landlords, as always. Damn. Landlords want to make money. Landlords want to run their business. Landlords want rents on time. Landlords expect if you don't pay, you pay a late fee. Landlords expect that we gave you the opportunity again to live in our facility, but then we should feel bad when you can't pay for whatever the reason is, and that we should suffer. We should suffer with our livelihood. We should suffer with our savings. We should suffer with our money. We should go ahead and pay for it while you go figure your life out and just let you figure it out at the pace that you want to. I'm calling BS on that. I'm tired of people saying it. Miss me with that BS, because if you didn't have landlords, you wouldn't have enough places for people to daggone stay anyway. So my thought process is that y'all should be nicer to daggone landlords, because if they all say they ain't doing it no more, this crisis would be even worse than what it is right now.
Did have some protections and resources in place during the pandemic to prevent the eviction tsunami that otherwise would have happened. But now, as those resources are being depleted and as the protections are expiring, evictions in many communities are surpassing pre-pandemic averages.
So that's her nice way of saying that persons who took advantage of the rent moratorium did not look, while they were not paying rent, they did not look into how they were going to pay, apply for any services that were available, apply for any of the programs that said that they would pay for the rent during the time frame, and just sat around and waited. And now those funds are gone, used, or it has come to an end. And now people who are thinking that COVID was never going to end and you would never have to pay rent again, now everything is coming to pass because it is passing. And now you don't know what to do, because now everything is on top of the other and the other, and it has gotten out of control. Because we're not thinking financially. We don't think about the consequences. We don't think about plan A, B, or C. We don't think about what comes next. We just bask in the now. And that's how we end up in so much trouble, and how we are at the top of lists we shouldn't be at the top of, and the bottom of lists we shouldn't be at the bottom of. But you know, black women know everything, don't want to listen. They got it going on. Have at it, child. Have at it.
Well, given that black women are overrepresented when it comes to evictions, Rashida, evicting black...
It was a nice way. She said overrepresented at the eviction level. We are overrepresented. All right, girl.
Women also means evicting black children. What's the impact on families when this happens, particularly disproportionate to people who...
So I hate to keep cutting it, y'all, but I got to talk right now before I forget. She wants this lady, I don't know who she is. She wants to pull at the heartstrings now and get emotional. That means that the kids, because you know they got kids. So now we're supposed to be like, oh. And listen, y'all know I'm always for the daggone kids. What can you do for a kid where their parent don't seem to care about said kid? That's where the problem lies. But this lady here wants to pull at your heartstrings and say, oh, instead of really coming out here and being a real journalist and saying, so this is causing children to be out on the street. What was the cause of this, and why did it happen? It can't be just because of COVID, and sit up here and try to hold someone responsible for something. You can't just say that it's only COVID, it's only racism and whatever else she said, and not one time did none of these people say it's the bad economics, it's the too many kids, it's the not getting married, it's the not enough income, it's the financial illiteracy. None of that. Don't ever say none of that. Just come up with this BS all the time, this fluffy crap, and then say this is what it is. Oh, poor thing. And then I'll be told that I'm unempathetic and unsympathetic, and people and their issues and their blah, 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 blah. We all got issues. It's life. That's what it is. That's how it works. That's what it's called. It's not supposed to be hunky-dory all the daggone time. Not necessarily supposed to be easy. At the same time, if you got some issues and something ain't working out, then maybe you should change how you do some things. Stop thinking that you know every daggone thing. Go ahead and ask for some daggone help and do something differently, instead of sitting up here taking these people saying, and then you at home, that's right, sis, that's right, girl, and you remain in the same daggone place, and then the landlord says you gotta go, then he's mean. Y'all, please.
Look like you and I.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, the odds are stacked against Black women and their families at every turn. It's not just housing, it's the economy and legal system that undercut them both before and after the eviction. And what we see that every system is designed to fail Black women and their families at every turn. And it's not just a coincidence.
Everything is designed to fail Black women and their families at every turn. Wow. Wow, she really just said this. I have never in my life felt that way. Never. I know that I've been discriminated against. I know that I have been a part of some racist type things, but I don't think that I can't get anything just because of who I am. That just means that I got to get my ass up and work a little bit better, smarter, and harder. How about that? How come no one ever says those things? I am offended by this. My grandmother always said that what is it? What you say is what you manifest. It's along those lines. So if people are going to go ahead and feed into this, white supremacy, racism, families, Black women discriminated against, they have no chance, there are barriers at every door, there's never anything, oh my God, all the time, then that's what the result you're going to get. It's the same difference as what the pastor said. What you say is what you get. So if you believe this negativity and that's what you say, then that's what you're going to get. So if you're not sitting up here thinking positively, doing things that are positive and working towards resolving your daggone solution, then you're going to go ahead and have the same results. These people on the news continue. I don't even watch the news, y'all. I don't. And I'm glad that I don't. I'm going to go find out and look into things for my daggone self. I'll hear about it and I'll sniff around and I'll look in different places. But what I'm not going to do is sit around here watching MSNBC, watching CNBC, or not CNBC, what's the other station? CNN and even Fox or none of them things. No, because they're all slanted for their own daggone thing and no one has time for that. This is some BS that they're sitting up here talking all the daggone time. Nobody wants to tell the daggone truth. And that's why you got Black women out here talking about they can do it all, they can do it all. And as soon as something goes wrong, they want to blame it on something because shows like this give them reason to say, oh, it's not your fault. Oh, it's not on you. Oh, this is the reason why. And then they play into that mess and stay in the same old places. Getting fooled, don't even realize it. Not moving forward, staying in your own daggone same place, and then blame someone damn else.
Coincidence, the entire system is built on this outcome. And so we need to be asking who profits and benefits from that outcome. But the results are, right, that when families are evicted, it's a lifelong impact. It thrusts them into poverty. And as the USA news story talked about, right, the impacts are far reaching. It impacts people's educational opportunities. It impacts their ability to access future housing that is safe and healthy for them, right? When families are forced out of their homes, they're forced into circumstances that are far worse than the ones that they just left, and particularly because their choices are impacted by what just happened with that eviction. And so again, what you saw in the story, when someone's evicted, they have an eviction record that follows them long term, right? They have to move out of their school district, they have to move away from hospitals or medical places that they're close to, right? So it just has far-ranging impacts, not just on the person evicted, but their entire families and for the rest of their lives often.
So then my question would be, if we have all these disproportionate things against us, negativity, racism, discrimination, white supremacy, we got it all, we get it, I know. Why is it that we continue to make the situation worse then by having a bunch of kids by a bunch of different people, by bums, not making sure that you have a stable place to live? So if you're not paying the rent for whatever reason, there are no options for you. People talking about they don't want to get married. It must be nice to be able to do whatever the hell it is that you want. Have something go wrong and then blame something out in the air as the reason why you can't do something. So no one wants to talk about the fact that the eviction rate, it is high, and that single family led mothers with children are the highest poverty rated person. 70 some odd percent. We just saw that. No one wants to bring that up. No one wants to talk about that. Stop having all these daggone kids, but you say that and it's like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. Condom spray. Birth control don't work. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's see and be making excuses for freaking bad damn behavior. I'm over it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Diane, I understand that some people may get these eviction notices. They look like, very official documents. They're from the court, and it's a lot of legalese there. And some people just don't know how to navigate it. They don't even know how to fight it. Sometimes these notices are for $10 or $20 in back rent. One day when I write another book, I'll tell my own testimony about such things. But I do understand that you just don't always know what to do when it comes to that. How can women who are in this situation now navigate the court system when it comes?
Now it's ignorance. Oh, no. Oh, now y'all don't know what to do. None of us knew how to do anything until we knew how to do it. You can't sit around and you can't ignore things. You can't act like you're not going to do anything about it. You got to sit up there and you got to read through your landlord-tenant agreement. How many times do I have to say? We enter into contracts and purchasing things, large item tickets, and we don't know what it is that we are signing. And then you turn around and try to feign ignorance later? No. You can't say that and then turn around and say it's white supremacy, racism, discrimination, of course. Like this thing with the Bank of America and those daggone houses that they're going to be giving away. I know they are not going to lack from any persons that are going to be applying for it. I'm telling you all right now, listen to me. I'm telling you. And while they are going to give them some sort of financial literacy when it comes to home ownership, it's not something that you're just going to learn in 30 days and you're going to be able to take it daggone on. HUD must be giving these people money to make the daggone payments, because if you're not even verifying income, how can anyone expect that they're going to go ahead and pay this mortgage? But that's a whole nother story. I don't even care about that, honestly. Instead of going ahead and finding out what it is that you need to do from a verifiable source that makes sense, you could read your landlord-tenant agreement in this particular case. You could go down to legal aid. You could reach out to your workers if you have them. That means childcare, food stamps, welfare, you got any of that stuff. You can still reach out to those places and they can direct you. There's state facilities in every daggone state that people could reach out to get help with this. Not to mention that the courthouses have information as to how to navigate yourself through the daggone court systems when you're representing yourself in something like an eviction. Now, obviously, the best thing is to get a lawyer, but the odds are people are not going to be able to afford a lawyer. So one would think that you've got to go ahead and get down there and learn as much as you can, use the legal aid people to help you, to give yourself a fighting chance, and or go talk to your daggone landlord and see if there's something you could do to work it out instead of just waiting until somebody's knocking on the door, the constable, to say that we're putting your stuff outside and you can go. We're going to need to take more responsibility for our own lives.
Comes to getting evicted.
Well, the first thing to understand is that only a court can evict a person from their apartment. So if somebody receives an eviction notice, they should stay in their apartment, see if they are able to get legal counsel through legal aid or other ways to get legal representation, so that when they go to court, they can have somebody assist them with the process in defending and staying in their home. Unfortunately, that's one of the real systemic challenges that exists in our housing system, where today about 90% of landlords show up to court with legal representation, but fewer than 10% of tenants do. So, one of the blame it on the landlord. So here it says, talk to your landlord. Okay, you can always do that. Find rental assistance. They're given the daggone address on the internet that we all have access to if we have phones. You could go there and then, of course, learn your local tenant rights, which is the landlord-tenant agreement that I always talk about, which is something that you get as soon as you go into an apartment. So those are things you can do beforehand. And the best thing to do, if you should have already done this, is to talk to the daggone landlord, because you could work it out with your landlord. But 10 out of 10 times that I had to deal with it, they don't want to talk because they know daggone well that they don't have the daggone money, but instead of talking about it, they'd rather ignore. Interesting how that works.
it says to hire an attorney, which is crazy because if these people ain't paying the rent, they ain't got no money for an attorney most of the time. And try to resolve it to stay in your home, which obviously is the best thing. And then if the court evicts you, find emergency rental assistance, same website, and research tenant screening laws and protect your record. So there are some tips. Don't say I never gave nobody nothing.
Structural solutions to this is to get right to counsel so that all tenants who are threatened with losing their home have legal representation to help them defend it. But the most important thing to do is stay in place, look for assistance with legal aid, and also to see if there's assistance available through emergency rental assistance programs to help pay that back rent that might be owed.
Yeah, and if you can't afford your rent, I'm assuming you don't know that you can afford a lawyer. So that, you're at a disadvantage when it comes to the court system. Rashida, we're coming up against the end of pandemic protections for a lot of people when it comes to owing back rent, owing, mortgage companies, etc. A lot of the people who are filing these evictions actually got money from the federal government to cover their expenses, the protections in place for them so that they wouldn't be evicting people. How does that work? And how can and tenants, people who are facing eviction, how can they navigate that process as well?
The challenge with some of these rental assistance programs is that it's the same challenges that existed before the pandemic. It's challenging for people to access applications. It takes a long time to process those applications. There weren't systems in place to really be able to move this money quickly. And so people are still at risk. People are still facing eviction. And the same confluence of factors that made Black women the highest evicted group, both before and during the pandemic, right, are the same factors that are going to make them exposed and the most vulnerable and at risk.
No, I'm not buying it. Nope. I'm done with this. I'm not buying it. So even during the pandemic, they were targeted. It doesn't matter what it is, when it is, how it is, what it's about. It's always, woe is the Black woman. Woe is the Black woman. Okay. Miss me with that. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy to get to the money. It's not easy to, it may take a long time before the money comes through, if it comes through. I don't disagree. That's government red tape. Got it. I still to this day haven't gotten my tax refund, okay? So I get it. I understand. But you don't wait until the last stretch of the race. You do it immediately when the race starts in order to get what it is that you need. So if people weren't starting and looking into and finding out and searching and understanding, then that's on them. And I'm sorry, this is just me. This is my 2 daggone cents, is that we just think that there's always going to be someone there to save. So we don't have to worry about anything. And we don't until it seems that something is not going to get done. Then it's a rush. It's a woe is me. It's not fair. Racism, white supremacy, discrimination. That mess is old. I'm sorry. I understand that I may have had a better situation than others, but y'all really don't know what's going on, what has gone on in my life, because everything has not always been easy. But let me tell you what has always been something that I can even go ahead and credit my mother for, is to always have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan damn C. So if that's the only thing that someone can take away from this and they want to try to change their daggone situation, I would suggest you change that and think about doing something differently instead of blaming other people when you're the one that is in control of your own daggone life. That's it. That's all. If you made it this far, I do appreciate you. Please consider subscribing. I will see you all in the next one.